What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mike Check Podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ. Thanks for tapping in. Today, we're going to be talking about Canelo Alvarez and potential opponents for his annual September date, his second fight of 2023. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate your feedback. All right, so let's get right into it. Canelo Alvarez has been in the news lately, boxing news specifically, regarding potential opponents for him to have later this year. Now, prior to the announcement of potential opponents, Badou Jack and Jermall Charlo, Team David Benavidez says that they sent an offer to Canelo of $50 million to fight them later this year, back in September. I believe that's Mexican Independence Day. But there was no answer, so they decided to move forward and go ahead and fight David Morrell instead, which is going to be a pretty big fight. I think it might be a little early for Morrell, but it's something he could bounce back from if he doesn't win. It might be ugly if David Benavidez is to lose to David Morrell, though. It kind of sets him back a little bit. But that's a conversation for a different day. Today we're talking about Canelo and specifically why he turned down that fight. Nobody knows. I thought it's a great opportunity to make a lot of money. That's what Canelo's in the game for at this point, to get the bag. And why not take probably the biggest fight that he could make the most money for? He isn't interested in fighting Bivol at 168 for the belts. So Bivol said, if we can't get access to them belts, we don't want it. So that starts to whittle down some of the potential opponents for Canelo later this year. He's already fought Triple G 3 times. That's not coming back. And then you look at, Demetrius Andrade, somebody Canelo basically says he's not going to fight. And it kind of makes you go, okay, who are you going to get in the ring with so you can hold that date? And now that Spencer Crawford is already booked for July, there's no other really big fights unless somebody like Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua decide to jump in the ring and maybe steal that date. But we know that probably isn't going to happen till December. So he's locked in for September, but your choices of quality opponent to make it worth your while are dwindling. So then you get to Badou Jack and Jermall Charlo. While I think Jermall Charlo is actually a better fight, a more competitive fight, Badou Jack is a new champion. So that's going to allow Canelo with the win to add another weight class to his resume. I believe that's cruiserweight. So, he'll have a light heavy title. He'll have a cruiserweight title. He'll have done super middleweight. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of cherry picking his way up the ranks, if we're being honest, just to add another division to his resume. I think that'll make 6 for him. So it'll be historic nonetheless if he's able to fight and beat Badou Jack. I just think that the better fight stylistically and from an entertainment standpoint and probably from a money standpoint is actually getting in there with Jermall Charlo. That pay-per-view would sell like crazy. I don't know that people would pay a lot of money, or many people would pay to see him fight Badou Jack. But ultimately, it just makes you scratch your head, because I get it that Canelo's done enough to kind of pick and choose who he wants to fight. But I guess this is more about the fans than Canelo, because he don't really say nothing. Like, he don't defend his resume on the internet and all that stuff. But when you go out there and you listen to people that are staunch supporters of Canelo, they talk about he's able to do what he wants to do because of all he's done. And I'm like, well, if you just want to rest on your achievements, go do exhibitions like Floyd Mayweather. And that way nobody will ever question your opponents, because they know this is just a money grab. Right now, you're doing money grabs under the guise of actual legitimate fights that I don't think are really registering with the fans in that way. Now, his last pay-per-view did pretty good, but the numbers aren't climbing. They're actually going backwards. So you're going to need to get in there with somebody most people feel is competitive. And like Q has said, they want to see Canelo in there with somebody they think will beat him. Well, isn't that how it goes? People want to see Tyson in there with somebody that could beat him. They want to see Tank in there with somebody that could beat him. They want to see Errol, Bud. They want to see Wilder in there with somebody they thought could beat him. That's what people are talking about when they say you're not fighting the best, because they just want to see somebody in there they think can beat you. They want to see Devin Haney in there with Tank and Shakur because they think that those two fighters can beat him. That's how the game goes. Am I right or wrong? So we want to see Canelo in there in tough fights, competitive fights, somebody that could potentially beat him. Not these soft touches that are going to just register at the bank. But what do you guys think about this? Do you like these two potential opponents, Badou Jack and Jermall Charlo? Do you think he should be fighting Benavidez instead? Is David Morrell actually an option? I don't, but maybe you do. Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already.